Look at these two cinematic AI videos. Which one feels more real to you? Shot A or shot B? Go back and look again and let me know in the comments which one you prefer. Personally, I like shot B, and many other people that I've asked have agreed with me. But why? If we pause the two scenes, you can clearly see that shot B is a much lower quality AI generation. The answer is camera movement. Today I'm going to break down why your AI videos feel fake, no matter how perfect they look. Then I'm going to show you some really simple prompt and editing techniques that can take AI slop and make it look incredible. First, we have to understand the problem. AI has opened up so many doors to creativity that, to paraphrase Jurassic Park, we've been too excited to see if we can, to ask ourselves if we should. This is a huge part of why AI video feels fake. When was the last time that you saw a crazy CGI transition in a Hollywood movie? I'll wait. Let me know in the comments. Many Hollywood movies use a ton of CGI these days, but they're still predominantly shot with real cameras. Even Avatar used physical cameras that cost tens of thousands of dollars, even though the finished movie was practically entirely computer generated. Why? Because the director, James Cameron, wanted it to feel real. One of the most important elements to the art of cinematography is camera movement. If you want something to feel exciting and grounded, use a handheld camera. If you want to emphasize stillness and the environment, then lock it off on a tripod. Stabilized tracking shots are the way to go if you want to focus on dialogue or the character that you're filming. Camera movement is an incredibly powerful way to express yourself as a director, but almost all of it disappears with AI. See, AI is great at generating visuals, but controlling the camera, that's another story. In order to bring back camera control to the creative process, I spent days and thousands of credits searching for a solution. Here's what I found. AI models still seem to be very limited in their understanding of camera control prompt instruction. This isn't so much an issue if you're going for a locked off frame, it does those well, but if you want pans or push-ins or handheld shots, the prompting process can be really difficult. And this is a problem because I want to create a World War I inspired sequence using 4 shots, all of which need to be handheld and have controlled movement. As with all cinematic sequences, it's best to start by using image gen for your storyboard. I'm gonna use a combination of different tools to do this, but for AI, we're working with Higgsfield, and you can feel free to copy my prompts and try this out yourself. First, let's use Nano Banana Pro with a reference headshot of myself to generate an image of me in the World War I trenches. I always start with 2K resolution images because this is much faster than using 4K and it costs a lot less credits, and I run at least 2 generations per image and then pick my favorite. Both of these actually look pretty good, but I think I prefer this one on the left. Now that we've got this, I'll reference it and generate a new image and give Nano Banana this prompt. Generate a new image of the soldier in @image1, running through the trenches in World War I at full speed. Apply subtle motion blur to his arms and legs to sell realism. Explosions and dust fly in the background. Smoke fills the air. Mud splashes as the soldier's boots hit the ground. Shot type full 50mm lens f1.8. Cinematic soft lighting, subtle film grain. Let's give it a shot. The first shot on the left looks okay, but it's a little unnatural. I prefer the one on the right. Now I'll generate another image of the soldier running toward the bunker, and then one of him inside with the general. Now comes the last image. I want a close-up of the soldier handing a letter to the general, but I'm kind of drawing a blank on what instructions I would give to prompt that. So instead of prompting, let's just use the multi-shot tool on Higgsfield and see if it'll come up with a good angle. You can see we've got a ton of options, but this one right over here actually could work really well. Okay, we've got all of the images. Now, how can we animate these to feel real? I know that I want to use handheld camera motion to make the scene feel intense and grounded. So to start off, I asked ChatGPT to give me a handheld camera control prompt template that I can put at the end of each generation. This is what it gave me. Go ahead and screenshot it if you're trying to do this yourself. Starting at the beginning of the sequence, I tried animating my first shot with practically every major AI model. While a couple of them look okay, none of them really understood how I wanted the camera to move, until I switched to an older model, Kling 2.1 Master. Kling 2.1 Master actually understood the camera controls, but the problem is that the Soldier now looks way worse than the Kling 2.8 generation. I ended up finding a way around this that gave me the best of both worlds though, and I'll show you that technique in a minute. The second shot I also tried with a bunch of different models, but this time the camera direction I wanted was a push in, and practically all of them got it right. So it seems like the AI can understand a push in prompt a lot better than handheld camera movement. Next up, there's the interior bunker shot, and for this one I actually turned to Higgsfield Cinema Studio tool because I wanted to try something out. I put in my prompt and then I selected the tilt up motion from their settings. I did this to see if I could combine the camera motion setting on Higgsfield with my handheld motion prompt, which would ideally give us a tilt up movement with some handheld camera motion. But unfortunately, after a number of tries, I realized this really wasn't gonna happen. I even tried tweaking the prompt in and out, and really none of the generations turned out well, and I decided we're just gonna have to adjust this shot in post-production. Finally, on the last video prompt, I tried combining the camera movement settings and the handheld prompt again, and this time it actually really worked. It nailed it first try. So remember, just because it doesn't work with one shot doesn't mean that it's not gonna work with any of your others. So now we have our 4 shots, but integrating handheld camera movement inside the generation only worked on 1 out of 4 of them. To fix this and edit together our scene, I'm gonna open up my favorite editing software, DaVinci Resolve. Right now, if we edit the raw clips together, it looks okay, but it's still pretty disjointed, and I want more energy. I want the scene to feel more intense. Thankfully, there's a super simple way to polish up these videos and give them that energy. One of the first things you might notice with AI is that it'll just randomly generate videos in slow motion. It did this with our opening shot as well as the one where the general stands up from the table. So the first thing we have to do before anything else is to speed up these videos and make them real time. I'll select the clip on the timeline, then right click and go to clip speed. Then I'll take the frames per second from 24 up to 60. Now, if we play this one back, we should have a properly timed shot. Here's the before, and here's the after. Quick note, setting the speed to 60 from 24 isn't always going to get you the perfectly timed shot. Some AI generations are faster and some are slower. So if 60 frames per second looks weird, just adjust it until it looks natural to you. For example, this shot of the general standing up, I actually had to increase the speed to 120 frames per second instead of 60. The speed of our videos looks good now, but they're still too smooth. So for this clip and all of the other ones that don't have any handheld camera motion, I'm gonna open up DaVinci's effects menu. Click Resolve Effects, then scroll down to Camera Shake. I'll drag this onto our clip and then adjust these settings on the right until it looks the way that I want. You can make the shake as exaggerated or random as you want to match the scene, and then finally add some motion blur, which will really sell the effect. Now I'm gonna repeat these steps to add that handheld movement to all of the shots that need it, and then edit the scenes together with simple cuts, just like a movie, nothing fancy. After a few more magic touches, the scene is complete.
A letter from command, sir.
That felt so much more real than most AI videos, and it comes down to the intentionality behind our camera movement. That said, there are some other really important techniques that I used in the final edit to really sell it, and if you want to learn those, I've got a whole tutorial on how to do that with AI video editing that you can watch right up over here. AI video looks like slop unless you do these 3 things that I'm about to show you. I'm Joseph Martin, and I'm going to deconstruct this cinematic sequence and show you the 3-layer stack that I used to build it. Number 1, the brain, how I wrote it all with AI. Number 2, the eye, how I generated the visuals in Higgsfield. And number 3, the hands, which is how I used video editing to tie it all together. The single biggest mistake that people make is skipping the brain. They jump straight to generating cool images, but they really have no story behind it. I use Gemini to do this. You can also use ChatGPT or Claude if you want to, but I don't use it to write the entire script. I just use it to structure my thoughts. Here's the exact prompt that I used for this video. Pause the screen if you want to copy it. Help me generate prompts for a cinematic video sequence of a cowboy exiting an old saloon in the Wild West. He walks into the dusty road and gets into a standoff with a villain. Do not generate images, give me prompts that I can use to generate images for a storyboard later. This is what it gave me. These prompts are actually really impressive, but they still need some work. One key to getting consistent looks across all of your video generations is to include camera and lens information, the kind of thing that a DP on a film set uses. So I'll ask Gemini to add that info with this prompt. Add detailed camera and lens information at the end of each prompt. Each shot should use a diffusion filter and appropriate lens focal lengths for the shot type. That's better, but it's still not perfect. I took this output, copied it into a Google Doc, and then did a manual pass adding details and camera settings that match each other and my overall vision for the scene. Basically, AI is the architect, but you are the interior designer. Don't skip the rewrite. Now for the visuals. I used 2 different models for this video because they each have different superpowers. Let's look at exactly how I made the opening shot for the Western standoff sequence in the intro. First, I went to Higgsfield AI. This is my favorite site for accessing multiple AI models in one place. We'll start with image generation, and then we'll turn those images into videos. It's important that we do it in this order because even though you can generate video directly from text, using images as the starting point provides much better consistency across all of your shots. It's also cheaper. While we have some solid prompts for video generation, AI can still be really unpredictable, so generating images as opposed to videos enables us to create dozens of options much more quickly while using less credits. First, I selected my favorite image gen model, Kling01, and then I copied our prompt and generated it into a number of different images. This one right here is my favorite. However, this is sort of mid-action. I want the shot to begin with the cowboy opening the doors, so let's edit this image and use Nano Banana to go back in time to the moment before the doors were opened. This one right here looks good. Now that we have our images for the first shot, let's move over to our second tool, the video generator. For visual consistency and greater control, we need to select the model that has start and end frame capabilities. I tried VO3 at first, but it just didn't give me a good result, so I've settled on CDance 1.5 Pro as the best option currently available. Once CDance is selected, we'll import our 2 images, the start frame with the doors closed and the end frame with the doors open. Copy and paste our prompt again, generate, and just like that, our first shot is complete. Go back and watch that shot one more time. It may still look a little bit rough right now, but I'm gonna repeat these same steps for all the other shots that we're using in the movie, and then we'll dive into the most important final step where everything gets polished. Now for the real magic. I use DaVinci Resolve to edit all of my videos. It's a professional software, but it has a super capable free version as well. I highly recommend that you check DaVinci out, but Premiere Pro or Desktop CapCut work as well. Just don't try to edit on your phone or something. You need the precision of a mouse. Here's the timeline of this video. Let me show you the 3 important edits that I made to make it watchable. Number 1, manual trimming. AI videos are hardly ever ready to go right out of the box. Once I have all of my clips together, I'll go through and I'll trim the edges up to make them flow from one to the other with proper timing. Sometimes there's weird glitches in the generations that you'll want to trim out as well. The first pass through tightens everything up and gives us our first look at the assembled story. Next up, we need to add sound effects and music. This is where things really come together. It's been said great videos are like 60% due to good audio, and personally, I would up that to 80%. It's just way more important than you think. Now, many AI models generate their own sound effects, our shots included. These can be useful, but most of the time, you can get much higher quality ones from a music and sound effect licensing site like Epidemic Sound, which is what I'm using here. Wherever it is that you get your sound effects, just go through your whole video and add a ton. You want sounds for every footstep, door hinge, and gust of wind. Just make sure that each sound is really only as loud as seems realistic for that shot. Footsteps should be loud if we're showing a close-up of boots, but soft if it's a wide shot. Once we've laid out our atmosphere, we'll add a musical score to tie everything together. Obviously for this one, we're gonna pick something Western themed. Finally, step number 3, the final polish, which is color and effects. No matter how hard we try, it's very unlikely that every clip that you generate is gonna match up perfectly. To give each shot a consistent tone and the whole project a cinematic feel, we have to open up the color correction tool of our software. Here we can apply color adjustments to each scene so they match, and even add effects like vignette or film grain to tie everything together. You can even do something unusual. I found that I actually really liked the look of this scene in black and white, as if it were like an old Western before color TV even existed. This is the final place where you can put your creativity to work and make the final product completely your own. Now I understand that this was a quick, abbreviated version of instructions for editing, so if you want to see a true beginner deep dive on editing AI videos, I'll have that linked in the description and on screen in just a second. So let's recap the stack. Number 1, brain. Gemini for structure, which was rewritten by me. Number 2 is the eye, where I use Kling01 for images and CDance 1.5 Pro for video. And then number 3, the hands, which is DaVinci Resolve for manual cuts, sound layering, and color grading. The video that we just created was fake in its materials, but the intent was real, and that's the lesson. Don't let AI be the director, let AI be the camera, the set, and the microphone. You're the director. You get to decide what happens. I've linked all of the tools that I mentioned, Higgsfield, DaVinci, in the description down below. And if you want to get even better at editing, you should check out this video where I do a deep dive on editing up AI video. Until then, we'll see you in the next one.